We have two very special guests from our neighboring big brother India here today, and two very special ladies. And the first is Dr. Aanamaki Biswan, who is the Deputy Director of Programs at the SARC Cultural Centre here in Sri Lanka as well. Dr. Biswan has obtained an MA and a PhD in History of Art from the National Museum Institute of History of Art, Conservation and Museology in New Delhi. She has been active in the field of heritage and cultural development and management for the last 20 years. Her holistic approach towards cultural heritage is a consequence of her hands-on experience with museum design and development, event conceptualization and implementation, and many other facets in the field of education. We also have with us Dr. Saundhi M.Chawan, and Dr. Saundhi Manjunath-Chawan has a Master's in Painting and a PhD in Fine Arts from the Karnataka Chitrakala Parishad. She has to her credit 5 solo shows of paintings and has participated in many group shows and art camps in India and globally as well. She has presented and published about 20 research papers and counting in national and international conferences. So thank you so much for taking time off your busy schedules, madams, and welcome to SLBC.
A very good morning to all of you, the listeners of this channel today.
Good morning, Maria, and good morning, everybody. We are saying hello from India and hello from
Sri Lanka.
So that was Dr. Aanamaki and Dr. Saundhi as well. So it's going to be a very important interview in terms of women's role in society and women's role in education and performance arts. So Dr. Aanamaki will focus on women's role in economic development of a nation and in terms of familial relationships, whilst Dr. Saundhi will elaborate on women's role in performance and in the performance arts and visual arts in a nation as a pillar of strength. So who would like to go first with...
I think Dr. Aanamaki should start.
So Dr. Aanamaki, once again, a very warm welcome to you. And the role of a woman in society, it's difficult for us to summarize in a few words, but how would you approach it?
See, a woman's role in this human society has been very, very, fundamental and required. As a foundation of the home or a family, she's there as a mother, as a sister, as a wife. And that, overwhelms, I think, an individual. Being a woman, I can understand, from my childhood that how overwhelming it is and how much emotionally demanding it is when you are a sister and a wife and you're a caretaker. The day one the statement comes, a girl is a caretaker. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the society looks upon even today in 21st century where, people like us who are leading, these organizations, globally, yet it is considered that women is the caretaker. So that's the society's role, which, somewhere, is very hypocritical, if I have to say, that it is expected that women will be leading in the corporate houses, leading the internationally or globally. But at the same time, when she comes home, she's supposed to be caretaker. So she also needs care.
And Dr. Saundhi, your response as a performer, as an artist.
It is so true that, I agree with Aanamaki, whatever we are outside, we are taking big decisions, we are participating in international events and organizing, sometimes being the core of the organizing committees and teams. When we come back home, we are just mothers and wife and caretakers of the home. But of course, see, that is the beauty of being a woman, I think we enjoy both the roles equally and just not enjoying. At the same time, we are nurturing at home and encouraging outside. That's the beauty of being a woman.
So in a way, I think it's as much as it is fulfilling, it is extra difficult as well. Would you like to elaborate on the technicalities of that?
Yeah, so technicalities, I would say it's, as I mentioned earlier, it is very much overwhelming. It is quite challenging when you are expected to deliver equal to all, which is, we say we need gender equality. So in corporate and or in, professional world, we are expected, and we do deliver even sometimes better than men. Okay, I'll go ahead and say that, because I think we are under, scanner all the time, because still somewhere, wherever a woman comes in, the gender inequality or the scanning becomes much tougher. So that is, where it becomes pretty challenging. But when a woman is leading or doing something, the whole society is looking up on at her, that what is she up to? Will she be able to deliver what is expected? And that's where a woman does much better than the men. That I have seen, I have been through this. And, Dr. Soumya will also agree with that. So I think that makes us, again, I will go back to Soumya's, statement, that makes a woman more complete, more fulfilling. Because and it gives something, better than what I feel, that Ardhanareshwar. So a woman in today's world is somewhat like Ardhanareshwar, a Shiva, who is male and female both. So today's women actually carries that, the full identity of human as half woman and half man. And she's nurturing, she's also leading, she's technically, very much qualified, technically fulfilling. So that's where, it's a more, advantageous for a woman, because we can love so much, we can care so much, we can be creator. That's the biggest thing we have. Nobody else can create. So we actually have upper hand over men.
Yes, I agree with you, Aanamika. Also, I think, see, the blessing that a woman has naturally is her patience. Yes. Patience at home, patience at the workplace also. I think this is the key to her success. At the same time, hard work, never compromise with hard work. I think we sleep less, we eat less, we work more, and at the same time, attending to children, to our children, we never make them miss us.
Yes.
So always thinking about children. Whatever we are doing, at the back of the mind, the mother is always alive, always ready to, ready to take care of her child. I think that is the beauty of a woman, and that softness she carries, whether it's at home or in office. I think that is the key to success of a woman.
So both doctors, you elaborate on the fact that woman today has broken the stereotypical gender roles and has embraced society in a holistic approach.
Yes, we do agree with this 100%.
And today, with so many ministers being women in the Indian cabinet, I think we are looking forward for not even equality consciously.
Yes.
It has been very spontaneously, not even equal. I don't even want to call it equal. It is according to each one's capabilities.
Yes.
I think they are awarded and rewarded and given the placement according to their capabilities. And a woman strives much more harder than what she is capable of. I think that's why we jump and then reach something that is much more impossible many times when we look back
in the past.
Yes, we always think, how did we do this? How did we cross this? How did we pass those nights when we had to give a paper next morning, at the same time take care of a child who's not well, but managed. I think that is God's grace.
I have to agree with you there, definitely. And just an interesting question to both of you, doctors. In comparison with Sri Lanka and India, have you noticed the role of women and the active participation in society? What do you feel in terms of the two nations and the placing of women?
See, I am a great fan of Sri Lanka. Because I think it was Sri Lanka who gave the first woman leader.
Yes.
It was Sri Lanka who gave the first woman leader. Then it was India who gave the Prime Minister as Indira Gandhi. So, in every way, I have... though Sri Lanka is a smaller country, I have learnt a lot from Sri Lanka. Because, going through the history, I would like to go through a little of the history, and then... even when there are two aspects in the visual art. One is how the woman is interpreted in art. The second is how a woman interprets art. So a woman interpreted in art right from the Indus Valley civilization, we can see the dancing girl from where Indian art actually begins. It's just a 10-inch 10.5 inches tall bronze image
Yes.
today at exhibition at the National Museum in Delhi. But that is almost a beginning
Yes.
of art, and the many mother goddesses of the Indus Valley civilization. And then the various paintings at Ajanta,
Yes.
then the paintings later that come through the miniatures and the various other styles of painting. The contemporary artists where the woman artists have taken a lead.
Yes.
In many ways, like we can see Amrita Shergill, who's a modern artist, modern painter, who paints so many self-portraits
Yes.
without any inhibitions. And also she depicts the society at the same time. And also today we have Anjali Ila Menon, who's an elderly artist and who's been globally recognized, and her paintings have been auctioned at the biggest auction
Yes.
houses, and she is priced the highest in many auction houses. Coming to Sri Lanka and art, like we all know that it was Sanghamitta who brought the Bodhi tree
Yes.
to Sri Lanka. So it was a woman who led
From India.
yeah, from India to Sri Lanka and brought Buddhism here. But the tree she brought was again taken back to India because the Bodhi tree in India dies.
Yeah.
So the sapling from Sri Lanka was taken to India. So in one way or more, India and Sri Lanka have been related.
Definitely.
Yes, I think the connections are amazing.
Yes.
Though the cultures came from there, they have developed with their own identity in Sri Lanka.
Yes.
That's what I saw. And women here, I think they are amazing. They are multitasking, and also at the same time, I see more women working in offices. For example, even our office, we
Yes.
are more women
Yeah.
working in our office.
Oh.
The professional staff and the director, all of us are women. So I really congratulate Sri Lanka for that, giving the whole world as an example,
Yes.
to give that the top position to a woman to lead, which I think we all learned from Sri Lanka.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for that very positive. And Dr. Aanamika?
Yeah, I would like to add, I have a little experience. See, studying is a different thing, but having experience makes a person more accurate.
Yes.
So I have a little experience here for, 1 month or so in Sri Lanka. What I realized that if I compare it with India, Indian women are still not that enterprising. I will put it across because I've seen more entrepreneurs in Sri Lanka than in India. And I would also like to add the age group which is enterprising here in Sri Lanka is generally say 50 plus.
Yeah.
So in India, it's not happening like that. If the a woman entrepreneur is happening, it is happening who's a young generation. Maybe she's in 26 or she has done her graduation, post graduation, and has been given such professional this degrees or that kind of encouragement, and now she is doing it. So that's a big leap for Sri Lanka. If I have to compare in the economic and this enterprising whatever the space, the professional space, I think Sri Lanka is much better in that case. And I would also like to I loved your Hela Bojnale.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah, Hela Bojnale. That's a wonderful concept. That's a wonderful concept where women have been given the front role.
Yes.
And they are leading that. These are my observation being here at Sri Lanka, that the women, they are not. I was so happy to see there's not even a single male, because that's their kitchen, they are running it. So what a wonderful theme and way of giving women that lead role and putting them at the place. Yes, you are the owner.
Yeah.
This ownership, I think, is I would say I'm just comparing, but yes, India needs to go there.
Thank you very much for that positive comment on Sri Lankan society and Sri Lankan women. But as a Sri Lankan, if I would ask you a question, in popular culture, in media, in social studies, in social media in particular, we see that the Indian woman has more voice. Do you feel that it's true? Does the Indian woman speak out more than the Sri Lankan woman? Does the Indian woman take an active participation in decision making in society? Do you feel a difference, or is it still? If
If I'm asked this question, I would like to address it this way. it just looks more in India because the population is more.
Okay, fine. Yes.
It looks more because, and also we have the leading ministers as women, Smriti Irani ji, and Nirmala Sitaram.
Yes, your finance minister is a
of
woman.
course, not to forget Mrs. Sushma Swaraj, because of whom I'm here. I was appointed at the tenure of Sushma Swaraj when she was the Ministry
passed away, unfortunately.
Yes, and what a towering personality she was, and so we have had many such leaders.
Yes.
At the same time, many entrepreneurs as well. See, from Bangalore, there is the founder of Biocon, who is Kiran Majumdar Shah, and she is a huge collector of art.
Okay.
She has promoted artists, she has collected art, and I think if her collections themselves, I think, are evaluated, should be worthy of not less than 100 or more crores. So I think. Also, the curators of art galleries have been mostly women. So the art shows have been led by women, have been designed, conceptualized, and shown, created by women in the museums, at the art galleries. And at the same time, there are many leading art historians. Like we have Kapila Vatsyayan, and then I have my own professor, Dr. Shudamani Nandagopal, and of course, Aanamika here also is an art historian. So we have so many art historians, artists, and art entrepreneurs or art curators.
I think we can add Kiran Nadar Museum as well.
Kiran Nadar Museum. What a museum it is. So, what a collection.
And Sudha Narayanamurthy.
Yes, Sudha Narayanamurthy, who's doing unimaginable work for the society and for all classes. You know, it is for the developing class or the underprivileged class, the student class, and the professionals. She has been contributing heavily to everyone.
Yes, so thank you very much for that inspiration, the examples we can draw from our big brother, our neighbors in India. We have to take a break with a song, but just before that, I would like to thank you for that point on kind of encouraging our women to actively participate in politics, because we don't see that in the case of Sri Lanka, but in India we have by the likes of late Sushma Swaraj and
Nirmala Sitaram.
And Smriti
Irani as well. So active role of women in politics and in legislature is definitely an inspiration for us, tiny island nation in Sri Lanka. But thank you for elaborating on that.